Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to talk about MFI. What is MFI? It is an indicator. Just simply put, it is a leading indicator, right? MFI stands for money flow index, and there are not many indicators which are leading indicators. Now what is a leading indicator? Leading indicator means that it will show you ahead in time that okay, this thing is going to happen. Not all the time, but yeah, some of the times you can easily catch this. And in this video also we are going to discuss how RSI and MFI are different and how we can use both of them to a very killer effect, right? So let's just start. MFI is very similar to RSI. As you can see, the scale from which MFI is measured is same as RSI. It's from 0 to 100. Now, like RSI, it has an overbought and oversold zone as well. Now, overbought for MFI differs a bit from RSI. Overbought and oversold zones for MFI is 20 and 80, whereas in RSI it was 30 and 70, right? MFI, as the name suggests, is money flow index. Now money, if the money is flowing, that means there has to be something attached like volume with it, right? And all the volume indicators are leading indicators. So now how do we use this? I'll just try to show you. I'll try to show you directly with the RSI, right? So now here you can see that here there are not much oversold and overbought in this chart, right? Okay, I'll just simply start by analyzing these zones, right? Now technically you should be buying if RSI is below 30, right? That is what the technicals teach us, right? Now here you can see that MFI is like something at 24-25 zone, right? And then MFI starts increasing, right? But that does not mean that the price action has its bottom. Now what does leading indicator do? It means that if you have a low here, right, and RSI is supporting it, no matter it starts climbing up, you are still going to fall, right? Simple put it in this in these words, you can see that MFI has its bottom here, right? And price action has its bottom almost like after 10-11 candles here. So this meant that MFI already showed you that it is about to set a bottom, and then it actually sets a bottom like after 10-12 candles. Let's take another example. It's simple, it's right here, right? You can simply see that the volume is coming and MFI is in this zone, right? MFI went to the overbought zone and then starts declining. Now if it went to the overbought zone, that means that the top of Maruti will be coming soon. Unlike RSI, what RSI will tell you that okay, this is the top here and you need to get out of the stock and you need to sell. MFI here simply tells you that the top of the stock is about to come or the bottom of the stock is about to come. I'll take a good example of some random, let's say HTFC, because sometimes it depends on the volume. Here you can see simply that MFI topped out, I'll say at this candle right here. MFI is at its peak, right? Now MFI starts declining. That means that the volume which came in has started getting out. Now what MFI is telling you right exactly here is that HTFC will soon make a top, and you can see 2 or 3 candles later it made a top, but by the time that happened MFI was already at this point. That's how leading indicators work, right? Another similar instance here, you can see here that it went into this zone, right? You can see that it was at this zone. It started declining because volume is now going to get out, but it went further upwards, right? So that means that MFI is signaling you here that it is soon going to make a top, right? It is not saying that it has made a top, it is soon going to make a top. Similarly, let's take an example for the bottom. Here in this instance, I think RSI and MFI are both at the same levels, and hence it didn't show the nature of its leading indication. But on plenty other examples you can see that here again it made, the MFI made a top right here, right? And then it starts declining, and at this point where MFI was around this marker, sorry, not this marker, it was around at this marker, that you can see that here was the indication that HDFC is soon going to make a top, and then it went upwards furthermore. Now this is how you can simply use the leading and the lagging indicators. RSI on the other hand is a lagging indicator, and you can simply see that this region of MFI and this region of RSI has a lot of difference. Why? Because here the volume started declining, but the price action was sustaining it. That's why RSI didn't fall, but MFI did. Now there's another strategy which I had already discussed, but I think you should be knowing about this. If you join 3 tops from MFI, you can always use this as a resistance, right? You can see that there's a resistance in MFI around this point, and HDFC seems to be breaking out of it, right? It looks like it will break out of it and it will go something like this, most probably this, and then start falling down. So now if it makes a top here, something like around at this point, that will mean that HDFC will soon be making a top, and you need to be cautious about that. So MFI, I hope, is not a tough indicator, but if you use it with RSI, you can always start buying when these two are in oversold zone, and always start selling if these two are in overbought zone. I'll show you a good example of a good buy. If you were to buy, see, here's a perfect example. It's in its oversold zone, RSI is in its oversold zone, and this turned out to be a perfect bottom, right? And then it went upwards. Now some people might be asking that MFI made a bottom here and then it didn't go on to make another bottom, and hence in these cases you will need to check RSI, and if RSI and MFI are both signaling that it's the bottom, then MFI kind of lose its its property of leading indication. So you can see that here in this case, in this particular case, you can simply see that RSI and MFI almost are in the same zone together, and hence it didn't go up, rather it went down, and then after the indicators reset a bit and then they went up, and hence they went up again. Similarly, same zone, and you can see that the top was made only there itself, right? So if you are using MFI, you should always be using it with RSI. If both of them are in oversold zone, that's a clear indication, that's a good indication for a buy. If they are in overbought zone, that's a good indication of a sell. If you are using MFI and RSI together, if MFI is in oversold zone and RSI is not, then that means that it is acting as a leading indicator and a bottom is about to be formed. Similarly, if MFI is in the overbought zone and RSI is not, that means that the top is about to be formed. It has not been formed. There's a difference. Understand the difference between these two scenarios, and then we'll be discussing it. I hope you'll be having a lot of doubts regarding this, for which I'll be there to clear them, but for that you'll need to practice them a lot. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video, and you'll need to practice these for a lot of time, because my basic chart has always MFI, RSI, stock RSI, that's it. I do not need a fourth thing to trade in a single market regarding indicators. So these are my go-to indicators, these three I've told you. You can have yours, whatever suits your style, whatever suits your aggressiveness or passiveness regarding the market, but these three right here are my go-to indicators, and I do not need a fourth thing to trade in a market like this. So these are pretty important indicators for you. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, practice and have a good time.